Now you're recording.
Okay, jeez.
No, you're not. No, I'm kidding.
Welcome back, friends and movie fans. This is The Movie Date with Rob and Zach. I'm Zach.
And I'm Rob, and this is a podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be a smug prick about it.
Exactly.
But that's exactly what this movie is about, in a way.
It's about a guy who likes to steal the spotlight.
He's a smug prick. I don't like him.
He really is. But he's funny.
He is funny.
Oh boy, is he funny.
He is.
We're not talking about me. We're talking about...
Brought it back, baby.
Yeah, we're talking about DP, or as he's affectionately known as Deadpool 2, the sequel, The Dose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have recorded Swiss Army Man, but we're releasing this first. We're just sitting on it because we're in blockbuster season, so we're trying to strategically decide when we put out what. So, you know.
Yeah, and give the masses what they want. What they want is sharp critiques.
But the blind challenge is for Swiss Army Man is coming, and I do have some stuff to say about it, but we'll get to that.
Oh, it's mind
next time.
That episode, it's gonna knock your socks off.
Knock your socks right off your fucking feet.
Just right off there, like a Sharknado had hit them.
Yes.
Okay. So
cricket. Yeah.
So what did you think DP2 was gonna hold for you?
Rob? I like the first one.
Do you think it was gonna be a juicy nugget of comic book genius and jokes galore?
Not exactly, but I really liked the first one, so I'm just adjusting my mic. I liked the first one, and I think I mentioned in one of the other episodes that Deadpool is a character that I'm always 2 seconds away from being sick of. Like,
right.
Just like, I'm always on the verge of being like, all right, I've had enough of this shit. And I don't think it's the character so much as it is the people that rant about the character like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
It's like Rick and Morty.
It's like exactly. It's exactly like Rick and Morty. But yeah, I wanted to go in. I wanted them to push the boundaries a little bit further. You know, I want to see I want to see them because Deadpool, the first one, was made on like a smaller budget, and I wanted to see
what a bigger budget could do.
What they could do, and they were more confident this time. So Fox would probably take more risks, which I think there's a few things they definitely took risks on. You can tell they ponied up the money to get, maybe certain cameos of certain people, maybe we don't know. Keeping it spoiler free over here, spoiler fresh.
To say there's cameos, I mean, that's just expected. Everything's got a cameo these days.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I still have my wireless headphones on. Let me take these off.
I had some wireless headphones on like the other day, and they like magnetically snap together, like they're really slim, and like in the front, and like they look like a duck call kind of from afar. It's kind of funny.
I guess it's funny.
It's like, is that a duck call? No, that says Beats by Dre.
No, but I had some high expectations, and but I also kind of keep a low ceiling for a character like Deadpool. Because I don't really know what I want from movies like this, so I kind of just go in being like, I know I want it to be funny, and
you're just expecting a cavalcade of juicy stuff, just whatever it is.
Yeah, I think the big thing I expect these movies.
Ultimately, I expected like it to be a lot of fan servicing.
Yes.
A lot of callbacks, a lot of references.
But I also every superhero movie I watch, I always say there has to be a heart. Because if there's not a heart to it, I don't give a shit.
Sure.
That's just the way it is. But what did you expect going into it? Because
I expected honestly, I expected it to... When I first heard that they were going to make it, I was like, oh, Cable and Deadpool. Like, I thought that's what the movie was going to be. Yeah. Like their buddy, cop thing that they got going.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why, like, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are supposed to work. They play off each other really well.
They better make that fucking show.
They better make it.
I better see them
fuse
together.
The two together. Save Iron Fist from terribleness.
And save Luke Cage from having
from being
okay show. Yeah. It's okay.
But yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be Cable and Deadpool, and it was more like not so much that.
Yeah,
it was X-Force the movie.
It was the trailer for X-Force the movie.
Sure,
is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but it's there's some.
But you got a fully. It's not so much of a spoiler to say that you get a fully assembled X-Force.
Yeah.
At some point in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Which I was stoked. I've never read X-Force, but I know a lot of my friends have. You're a big fan of that. I never got to read a lot of X-Men. I should, for all the comic books I do read.
Yeah, X-Force was like the mutant side or the mutants kind of thing in relation to like the Thunderbolts, which is like a
my friend said it's the Suicide Squad of X-Men in a way. It's kind of a bunch of dastardly ne'er-do-wells in a way.
Sure.
But I don't know. But I'm excited and what do you think, Zach?
Yeah, man. I liked the comedy bits. I liked that it reached like there's one point in the movie where it just hits a peak, you know, and gets sort of meta on itself, like,
but not in a way that's novel like the first one.
Right. There was way too much like what I like to call Ryan Reynolds-y moments in there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where he's just like playing on the like Vanessa and is his girlfriend and but that's I guess where the heart, as you say, is supposed to be in the Deadpool movie.
Yeah. I don't think so though. I don't think that is where the heart is.
There you know.
And I think that this movie is there was a couple moments that got me in the theaters of like the heart moments, the moments that I always boil down like big blockbuster movies and, you know, big genre movies like science fiction or action.
I don't know who that kid was playing like the Flame Fist.
That was his name.
Is he a made up character? Because I haven't heard of him.
I can't remember. I know there was a dude in there's an X-Men I think called Sunspot, but I don't know if that's supposed to be him.
Maybe
because we're getting that character in the New Mutants movie that's coming out in like 4 months or 5 months.
Man,
or
I
something.
stopped caring about X-Men a long time ago.
So did I, but these new batch of X-Men movies are kind of saving it a little bit for me.
I didn't like Apocalypse.
Neither did I, but I did like Logan, Deadpool, and I love Days of Future Past, and I'm excited.
Days of Future Past was pretty good.
Yeah. Apocalypse is like half a good movie. There's some really cool stuff in there, but like there's also just like some shit that we've seen before, like a bridge being levitated off of a river and shit. But, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I've been on the wane for X-Men, like in Deadpool. You know, kind of was like, he made X-Men kind of cool and fun again, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of just.
Do you feel like the X-Men franchise, when you put it next to Marvel and DC, feels a little tepid?
Oh, it sure does. In fact, I would go as far as to say it feels like something that you'd watch on like HBO or something like that. Like not a huge tentpole kind of thing anymore. Like it stopped feeling like that after X-Men 3.
Yeah, which is the worst one. No, it's not. X-Men Origins is the worst one.
It's the worst one.
Yeah, but yeah. I feel like...
Don't get me wrong. There are some cool moments in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. Are there? I can't remember.
There's some cool moments.
Yeah.
Like some cool action-y stuff.
That
video game was gnarly, though.
Yeah.
Actually, the tie-in to X-Men Origins Wolverine, the video game, was actually a really decent action-adventure game, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I haven't never looked into it.
It's one of the rare exceptions where, like, the video game tie-in, thing is better than the movie.
Yeah. The Superman Returns video game is atrocious. It's pretty bad. I think that like when you put the X-Men movies, and I'll even include these new ones.
You're gonna include Deadpool
and Logan and stuff. I think I think these X-Men movies, when you put them next to Marvel and even DC, people just shit their brains as I say that. I think they feel a little rudderless. I kind of feel like they don't know what they want to be on the whole, so they just kind of have these movies that sort of stand by themselves. Some of them are really good, like Logan, I think is an awesome movie, and the first Deadpool is real solid. This movie feels more like what I was just talking about, like as far as like it feels kind of tepid and rudderless, and the movie feels too short. The action scenes feel a little flat a lot.
Yeah,
there's some cool moments. Like, I mean, it's I would say that.
There's some great action moments in there,
but it feels kind of tepid to me. It feels tepid in the way that like the action of like Thor Ragnarok. Is
like they mention, there's a reference in there where he just says, "Well, that's just lazy writing." Okay, well, I felt like there was some actual lazy writing in there. Like,
fair enough.
Lots of it.
And I feel like this movie is already getting pretty great reviews, and I'm gonna go on Facebook and tell everyone like Deadpool 2 is okay because that's basically that's basically what I'm boiling.
It's worth your time.
Sure, I would look. I don't think you shouldn't go see it, but
if you like Deadpool, if you like comic book movies, definitely go fucking see it. You'll laugh your ass off.
But I do feel like the writers of this movie and the fans of Deadpool and fans of the Deadpool movies, because I don't think those are always the same people.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think Domino is the best part of the movie.
Cool, fair enough.
Her favorite, part.
I think
favorite character.
I'll go on. I'll take that further. I think they're all good. Josh Brolin as Cable is pretty cool. I don't think we get enough of him.
We do not.
I
definitely do not get enough Cable.
I think it's Steven Kapicic as Colossus.
He's just kind of thrown in there. It's not like even you've got too much build up in like the first quarter of the movie.
Yeah, but there's no build up for Cable.
Yeah,
you
nothing. He's just like kind of dropped in there,
and he just kind of shows up. And I was like, you don't get anything of his real backstory. You don't if you don't know.
You get like this huge prologue with DP or whatever,
but none of that for Cable.
Yeah,
which is kind of frustrating. I'll be honest. I think even though that's true, I still think he's pretty good in the movie. Yeah. But I just felt like I don't know if I cared. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I cared like on an emotional level and stuff.
Yeah.
Colossus is back and he's great.
I think Colossus is great.
I think this is the best. I mean, we've only had 2 interpretations of that character, but I think this one is pretty spot on. Mm-hmm. I like him a lot. A lot of my favorite heart moments, like when I looked at you over to the seat next to me and I slapped my hand onto my chest and I went, oh. Like,
the love.
Yeah, he has like
Colossus.
He has some great.
In fact, I feel like that. I was like, what?
I feel like he's a better buddy for Deadpool. Than Cable.
And that's horrible to me because I'm like, it's Cable and Deadpool, bro.
But also, I think I always like it when little kind of side characters, B and C list characters, get that love.
Yeah,
and I think it's kind of cool that Colossus is like, he's kind of my favorite. Deadpool's cool, but I kind of just like Deadpool bouncing off of everybody. But if you don't have the everybody,
and there's
there's
another like spoiler big reveal that you thought was kind of lackluster as well.
Well, yes, but when I first saw it, I was like, "That's dope," and then when it was over, I was like, "That's dumb." I was just like, "It's handled very well." It's another, we get another.
Like it's never bad.
No, nothing's ever bad, but nothing ever blows me away in the movie either.
Right. You think it could just be us, getting that fatigue or...
No, because you say that after every one of these. Here's how we'll know when superhero fatigue is. When there's a bunch of them and each one that comes out is like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Like like 5, 6 in a row, which I haven't gotten that yet. Infinity War came out this year, and I thought it was pretty dope.
Yeah.
This movie is, I'm saying like it's fine. Like I think it's okay. I think it's, again, I hate giving a rating. I think it's a C plus or like maybe a B minus, but I'm edging towards C plus because I feel like
C plus plus.
Yeah, I feel like it's getting a little blown out of proportion in a way because people are telling me, oh, Deadpool 2 was so amazing, so great, and I hate reacting in a contrarian way just because everyone's giving it credible reviews, so I feel a need to shit on it. That's not what
it kind of follows the same arc and like path of the first one.
Yeah, my point is,
it even references it,
yeah,
like its own structure and writing,
sure, as
such, and it's just like, I feel,
yeah. I'm not criticizing parts of this movie to be contrarian. I'm doing it because I feel like it gets blown out of proportion, and whenever someone tries to sort of like maybe inject a little bit of criticism, some of the diehard fans of these movies don't take it very kindly.
I like the jokes, I like.
I remember we talked about the jokes in the movie. On the way out, I said this movie is less consistently funny, but it has bigger highs.
Notes, yeah,
higher crescendos, but also like lower lows. Like there's a few jokes that like killed me, and I was like, "That's great." And then there was a few that I was like, "I know they're leaving a pause in here because we're supposed to be laughing," and I'm like, "It's not funny." And I think part of that is just when you have a movie this filled with jokes, you're throwing jokes like at the dartboard, and just it's not quantity over quality, but you're just trying to.
It's an onslaught.
Yeah, you're trying to just destroy.
But then the moments where it gets serious, where you're supposed to care about Deadpool and about the heart of the movie, it's just like I don't.
Yeah, it feels it's the Thor Ragnarok syndrome.
Right.
They undercut some of the some of the important moments, and I would say there's more heart in this movie than Thor Ragnarok and movies like that. I think that there's some really good emotional moments, especially like in the opening 10 minutes. There's a big one that kind of hits you.
Even start to care for like Rebel Wilson's little brother, whoever that is. Like I don't know the actor who plays because that's what I was going to mention earlier. Sunspot or Flame Fist, as he is known in the movie.
Is he Rebel Wilson's brother?
I have no idea. That was a joke.
Oh, is it because he has an Australian accent?
Yeah, like right, he's from New Zealand. I can't. Anyway, any hoozle.
Mine's better, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's not.
All right. Yeah. All right. No. No. I thought you were serious for a second because he kind of looks like her. He has that face. But no. There's some heartfelt moments with him. There's some heartfelt moments between Colossus and Deadpool. I think my favorite ones were Colossus and Deadpool.
Oh yeah.
Like
sure.
there was one in there. I was like, man, Colossus is like, you know what I love about him, including in the first one as well. That he does it as well. One of the first times we see him in the first Deadpool movie, he's with Negasonic Teenage Warhead and he gives her breakfast bar and he goes, "You need to eat your breakfast." And I was like, he's such a stepdad, but he's great because he's a good man. Like, and he wants this little girl to grow up strong and stuff. And she rolls her eyes, but when she's 30, she's gonna be like, "That man made me who I am today." I love him. I think he's great, and I think he's great here because he gets a lot of the heartfelt moments. And I feel if this movie didn't have those, I think I wouldn't have liked it. I think I would have walked out.
He plays like the paladin to Deadpool's chaotic neutral.
But he's paladin but he has like a +12 Holy Avenger sword. He's super paladin. He's more paladin than Superman is. But I think that it works for him for some reason. I don't know why. But
because it's so far to that edge probably.
And he plays a good straight man, which is, I think always helps. Let's get to the negatives because we talked mostly about some of the stuff that we liked. Let's start focus on some of the stuff that we didn't. I'd say good jokes, even though it's less consistent. There's some decent heart in the movie. There's some decent acting in the movie. What were some of the negatives that you were like, I'm just not feeling this shit?
Without getting into spoilers.
Yeah, we'll get into spoilers in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So just like the handling of Cable fanboy stuff, really. I don't know. Yeah. Also, just felt like it was like the structure of it. Like I said, it was way too close to like the first movie.
Yeah, but it feels even more wonky though.
Yeah,
like it almost felt like there's no third act.
Yeah,
it feels like there's a first act.
Like you get a lot of build up, and then like a few things happen,
and a bunch of bullshit in the middle.
The big fight, and then the bigger fight, and then it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and I would say that do you think it's lazy? I don't want to spoil anything.
There's like there's no real cool villain. Like they kind of like play up Cable as the villain like throughout the first portion of the movie.
And he gets some kind of anti-hero-ish moments, but he's by no means is he the villain. And the villains that we do get are kind of shit, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't really like them, but
pedophiles.
Yeah. That part was good. Yeah. This is Deadpool's setup movie for an X-Force movie.
X-Force movie.
Which sounds dope.
Well, that's what I'm going to start calling this movie is like X-Force Origins.
But yeah,
Deadpool.
Does X-Force work without spin-offs? Because think about it. Think about a movie like The Avengers or Civil War or Justice League or any
X-Force
of these.
Could have a revolving cast of characters.
But does it work? Do you care about them as much as you do like The Avengers or Infinity War? Because we don't get to see them in other things.
No. In fact, the thing that makes it that much cooler is Deadpool.
Yeah.
I think.
So do you think the X-Force movie is going to work?
Sure. I'm sure people will go see it.
No, I'm sure people will see it, and because it's got Deadpool and it'll be kind of more fourth wall breaking and funny, I think they'll give it a pass. But I don't know if I think it... After seeing this, I'm not sure that it's going to be good because...
I think people are tired of seeing like superhero movies that go all in like to the straight dramatic or the straight like taking it serious tone. You know what I mean?
I'm almost at the opposite of that in a way, though, because if an X
Well, they seem to be responding to all these lighthearted, like Thor Ragnarok and like all the resurgence and just like joke after joke after joke in Avengers movies.
I guess you're right about that. I didn't think about it in that way, but yeah, they're making a lot of money. But I was like,
they did reshoots for Suicide Squad and Justice League to make them more funny.
Yeah. Well, for Suicide Squad, that may or may not be the case. Because I think that Suicide Squad probably was going to have the jokes that it had. Like, it seems like something he'd do. Because I've seen some of David Ayer's other movies, and he kind of works well in that way. I also saw that movie Bright that he did with Will Smith on Netflix.
I'm not gonna lie. I like Bright probably more than most people.
So did I. I hate Max Landis though.
Like, there's a lot of stuff he did in it where I was like, oh, that's just kind of corny and whatever.
But there's parts of it that are dope.
Like, yeah, the overall idea of it and like the acting and like the dialogues and trade offs and whatever that happened in the movie. Like, I thought it was fucking good.
I like the mythology, like Jarak lives and all that.
Yeah,
shit.
It was interesting.
Yeah. I felt it was really hard for me to watch that movie. We're going off on a tangent again. It's really hard.
I think Deadpool would like Bright. He'd probably think it was a cool place to be.
Yeah, that's fair. No, but when I watched Bright, the thing that was really hard for me because it was written by a guy that I despise, who's a real piece of shit.
Who might that be, Rob?
Max Landis.
Let's go ahead and call him out. Max Landis. What did Max Landis do to you?
Well, first of all, he's a sexual predator. Literally, like he got deep because he's John Landis' son.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he had this. He had gotten kind of famous. He would go on shows like Screen Junkies and The Honest Trailers and stuff. And he would be he would be on their movie fights. And he was famous for his like world class movie pitches where he'd walk into a room and kind of make something up off the top of his head for like a movie pitch. But he's written 3 movies. He wrote that movie Chronicle, the found footage movie, which is I like it.
Yeah,
he wrote Victor.
Solid movie.
He wrote Victor Frankenstein, which is awful. He wrote Bright, which is pretty cool, but was also rewritten by David Ayer, so I don't know which one of those I should give credit to. And he wrote the Pineapple Express ripoff American Ultra with Jesse Eisenberg and stuff. And I haven't seen it. I have no interest to see it.
I saw it.
What's it like?
It's weird.
It's weird? Yep.
Almost in a good way, but not quite.
Yeah. But also, he's kind of a condescending prick. Like when Batman v Superman came out, he said some really kind of shitty stuff about Zack Snyder. And when Justice League came out,
okay, now I'm catching hints. I think you don't like Max Landis, not because he's a predator or pedophile, but because he dissed your man Snyder.
Well, no, it's all of it. I think he's an obnoxious douche who kind of goes online and he writes mediocre movies, but he's hailed as this is like the next great screenwriter, and I'm like, I don't see it. But also, like, he didn't. It's not that he just like said something mean about Batman v Superman. It's like what he said. He said like when Zack Snyder left Justice League because his daughter killed herself, he was like, "Good, maybe we'll get a good DC movie now." And I was like, that's a shitty thing to say to someone. That's a fucked up thing to say. So anyway, fuck that dude. I hope he never works again in Hollywood. And his movies are mediocre.
It's kind of messed up.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway.
Okay, so back to DP2.
Back to Deadpool.
The X-Force Prologue Origins Deadpool movie.
But I guess what I'm saying is I think that this movie, I think it's 50-50 if X-Force works. I think if it's done, I think if they make it longer and they make it more about the character interactions and let them really have some chemistry, I think it'll be cool because as far as negatives, we don't get a lot of time with these people together. Like when the quote unquote team is together, I don't feel a lot of like, oh my God, they're together. Yes. Like that moment in Avengers or whatever.
Yeah, and you're supposed to fanboy out when Cable and Deadpool get together. Like,
yeah.
You know,
I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was like, oh, there's no chemistry here. But I was like, it felt a little flat.
Yeah, a little forced.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm still excited to see it. I just think this is like
Josh Brolin, I guess, like looked like to me, it almost looked like whenever he would crack jokes, he would be like, this gleam in his eye, like, oh, I'm in a movie where I finally get to crack jokes. Like, I like to act so serious and big and purple.
He does look good as Cable though. I like the arm and shit.
Oh yeah,
it looks pretty dope.
it's sick.
But yeah,
he is a little short though.
Yeah, but I think it works though. It gives him like that stocky brawler vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of like Wolverine is short in the comics. I kind of see that the same way.
But
yeah,
Hugh Jackman's like really tall.
Yeah, but I give him, you know, he gets a mulligan because he's so good. I've never seen him bad as Wolverine. Even in the movies that are shitty, he's great in them. Anyway, yeah, I felt the chemistry was real flat. I guess since we're in negatives, you want to go ahead and start talking spoilers so we can talk about specific things that we didn't really dig.
I thought the way they handled, like, you know...
You sound so sedated right now, you know, I guess.
I'm trying to, like... Okay, I thought the way that they handled, like, all of the superpowers, you know, and, like, story and plot lines and stuff was, just like a little fucking weird and like none of it was cohesive and made a lot of sense.
Yeah. It definitely
like they were reaching pretty far.
Yeah, it feels like this movie takes a while to get going. Like it feels like the first 15 minutes of the movie have nothing to do with what comes next. Like I feel like they should have started this movie with Cable.
Yeah,
like a badass Cable action.
So we're in spoilers right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, crazy. So the fucking first thing that happens is they kill his girlfriend, and it takes like 20 minutes to happen.
Yeah,
and it's not even like.
Which I didn't think it was executed badly. It's one of those. I would say
it almost makes you care about it, but
yeah,
it's just like God, come on with it.
Yeah,
like give me.
I thought the credits were lazy and not as funny as the first one. The opening credits.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were just kind of like, you're coasting off your own joke here. And I guess you're allowed to do that, but I don't know if I like it as much.
Yeah, it just felt like a carbon, you're just doing the same shit.
Exactly. A little bit. I'm gonna since we did good then bad and we're in spoilers, I want to go bad then good. I felt like the whole mutant prison thing was superfluous to the plot and unnecessary.
Yeah, it's been done before.
Well, yeah, it has been done before, but it's also like I feel like you could do the exact same thing.
Are those the same yellow jumpsuits from Guardians of the Galaxy?
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Like, did you just borrow from their fucking costume department?
I was expecting him to be like, I need a man's eye. And I would have been like, you son of a bitch.
That would have been a fun joke.
It probably would have been, yeah. In there. But because you can do that whole plot without any of those extra mutants.
Sure.
All that's there for is to set up the idea that they have those little neck things that cut off their powers, which I said they stole, which they do steal. That's a DC thing. It's a Young Justice thing. And in the comic books.
It's like a comic book thing. Dude.
I've never seen it in a Marvel thing.
Come on.
I'm sorry, I have to.
Like a fucking device that, like a necklace that goes around your neck or whatever and like stifles your pets. Okay. That's like just such a vague comic book thing that I'm sure it's been done a million times.
As you would say, it's a fanboy criticism. But it is one that irked me. But I think the entire...
Just because you read like a Young Justice comic or whatever, like and they had one in there, doesn't mean it hasn't been done.
I'm just saying it was a long time
ago. I'm freaking out because that's your critique is like fucking...
It's a minor nitpick. The critique is the whole prison...
Your critique is a bad plot device?
No, the whole prison scene is unnecessary because it's only necessary so that we can see that they have... the neck things that cut off their powers so it can be used later in the movie. Yeah. But you don't need the prison to do that. Also, it sets up the character reveal of like the extra bad guy of the movie, which is Juggernaut, which when I first saw him, I was like, yes. And I made a prediction to you, too. I was like, there's a big guy in this who's siphoned off from the rest of the prison. And I was like, I'm going to predict that it's Juggernaut or someone like that. It was either that or like...
Yeah, because apparently Deadpool has a habit of wanting to make things right in the in his film franchises.
Yeah, I guess. And I think when I first saw him, I was like, yes, I'm so stoked. And when he ripped Deadpool in half, that was also dope. But
yeah, that was... She's like, I'm going to rip you in half.
And I was,
and he did.
Yeah,
that was cool.
But everything after that, like of him, I felt was pretty bad. Yeah,
it was kind of lame.
Like the fight with Colossus, I was expecting like a a brawl. I wanted like a super powered throwdown, but we kind of just get like a cool wrestling match. Which is, I mean,
yeah, it was pretty much just like a wrestling match.
Which, you know, like, I wanted it to be like, oh, kick his ass.
You wanted it to be some kind of Man of Steel shit, huh?
Not even like, not that to that degree, because this isn't that serious. But like, I wanted the action to be more. This is an R-rated movie, but I felt that fight was pretty tepid.
Yeah,
like I get it. One guy's coated in titanium,
and
the other guy is
like
unstoppable.
Dude, it's a hard R, but there's a lot of moments in this movie that like just feel like PG fair.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Or you could reverse it and say it feels like they just tack on the violence for the R. So it's almost unnecessary. It almost could be seen as unnecessary. I don't give a shit. I don't mind. Do you feel like the action in this movie, though, because this is directed by the guy who did John Wick and John Wick 2, or one of the guys who did John Wick and John Wick 2. I feel like the action scenes in those movies are better than these. And I feel like in the first...
I haven't seen John Wick.
Really?
I mean, I like Keanu as much as the next guy.
You're doing yourself a disservice. Those are great.
I just kind of thought they were just like your standard action.
No, well, they're made by two of the stunt, the head stunt.
What's the plot? Like gangsters kill his dog, he kills gangsters. It's pretty lame.
Well, the plot is nothing, but that's why it's so great, because it's all action. And when I mean it's all action, I'm saying like it's
just go watch a Jason Statham movie.
But it's better. I'm saying it's like one of the best action movies of the last 10 years. It's up there with like the Raid movies, because it was the guys who made. We're going on another tangent again. The guys who made John Wick and John Wick 2 were who were the head stunt coordinators on the Matrix movies, which is where they met Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves is like a legit martial artist. So they hit him up one day and they said, we're trying to throw together like a low budget action movie where it's like the greatest hits of action films, meaning like it's all like the best stuntmen in the world that they could find. And they did it for super cheap with great practical effects and great hand-to-hand fights and great single take shots. It's super entertaining. It's nothing in like as far as the plot goes, but it's super entertaining. So that's why when I went into this movie watching that, I was like, man, I feel like this movie the action should be better, because the it's not horrible, but it feels a little choppy, and it feels a little, again, for like an R-rated movie.
Yeah, there's a weird thing happening, and I noticed where like we don't get to see action from far off or anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking close up nowadays.
Yeah.
Like all these action scenes and action sequences and fight sequences, like I can't see what's happening.
Yeah, well, some of them. I mean, like this movie definitely feels like that. Like the Nolan Batman movies had a lot of that, but that was on purpose. But like, which doesn't make it good. It just means they did it on purpose, because Nolan doesn't know how to like shoot fight
play
scenes.
By the rules.
But I would say like Infinity War has some great, like, you know. They lock the camera down, and this is why you might like John Wick as well, is because like they lock the camera down, and it's so smooth and graceful, and it's so enjoyable to watch. Infinity War, the Iron Man fight versus Thanos, you see all of it, and it's nail biting. And I wanted that for this. Like Cable when he comes back, when he comes out and has that prison break fight, I was expecting like some brutality, but we don't. It's not that he's not brutal. It's just that it feels a little tepid. There's no I can't think of any like series of moves
that feels like water.
Feels like water. What?
I don't know. You just keep using the word tepid. It makes
tepid. I'm sorry.
It's making me think of like water,
lukewarm water.
Yeah, just like
sink into the floor. It's a Get Out reference. Anyway. But no, I think that like I'm expecting like some brutality, and there's nothing that I remember from the fight scenes. I remember like cool injuries, like Deadpool falls off a thing and severs his spine, or something. Like those are cool, but like
Cable punched him in the back,
and stuff like that. But there's not like those are like little 1 second moments. I'm talking about like series of moves. Like in Infinity War, we can remember like that
combo that Thanos used to, punk the Hulk down.
Exactly. That's a perfect example, Zach. And I wanted more of that. but we don't really get that, especially in the Colossus fight. With him and Juggernaut, I can't really think of anything that's like, oh, that part was dope. Like, and they use it more as a way to sort of have some humor. Like he knocks out one of Colossus's teeth, which I didn't even think was possible. And Colossus sticks a spark plug up his butt. And I was like, I chuckled, but kind of would have just liked a real gut busting fight.
Yeah, that would have been sick.
Yeah. Also, I feel like the action in these movies.
I feel like when in these Deadpool movies, they should make the serious moments the action moments.
Yeah.
And that would make it twice as enjoyable. Just skip all of the like dumb emotional, plot threads here, like with your girlfriend and and just make these action moments and stuff like the serious parts.
Yeah, but I feel like you can do both of those. You can have the emotional moments, but you got to pay it off with the action, and I don't know if they do. Yeah, I feel like because of the nature of this character, I feel like they have to spoof certain action types. Like when you watch the first Deadpool, and it's in this too, there's lots of slow-mo scenes where like there's a big car wreck and things are exploding and it's slow-mo, and there's like a lot of stylish, overly stylized like kind of sword stuff.
Yeah.
And none of that stuff feels interesting to me now for some reason. And it didn't feel interesting to me in the first one either, but the first one I think was just it was just a better movie. It was funnier more consistently, so I kind of didn't give a shit. But in this one, yeah, I was like, I'm kind of tired of all the overly stylized stuff, and it kind of takes away from the movie. Like, what's the best action scene you think is in this movie?
Probably the main sequence, like the chase sequence
with Cable. When
the one where Domino pretty much like that's her biggest thing.
Yeah,
it's like
I'd say that's probably true. And I would say Caleb's for fuck's sake, Rob, Cable's jailbreak is pretty cool as well. But other than that, they feel kind of like they're fine. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, like the chase sequence I like a lot because, again, it's like even though you have like a really close, corridor space, like in that,
trailer.
Yeah, that's what it's like, a trailer. Yeah. That the Juggernaut's in and all that. Like you can kind of see it. You're like step back like 10 paces or so from the action, so you can see it all.
It's one of the more smooth sequences. Yeah, which I would agree with that. Also, it does have a pretty cool joke that I appreciated, which is there's two of them actually. Is Ryan Reynolds, and I'm sure this is one of his ideas because it's from another movie. In X-Men Origins Wolverine, he slices the bullet in half.
Yeah.
And he does it again there. And then he goes, bring it, One-Eyed Willie, and he starts shooting him up with all these bullets. And he does
that same twirling move.
But it doesn't work, and he misses a bunch of bullets and gets shot a bunch of times.
in the trailer. So
yeah, but was it?
Yeah, it's in the trailer.
I didn't know that. I thought it was quite funny, but I guess it wasn't ruined for me watching the trailer or something. But that was pretty cool. Yeah, and I wanted like more of that. Yeah. Get to the goods. Talk about some good stuff. Good spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, like, Juggernaut was alright, and he was pretty cool.
Yeah. Some of the good stuff, now that I can actually talk about it, is I like the
post-credit sequence was pretty alright.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I loved it. Let's talk about like some of the actual jokes that we thought were great. The X-Men cameos.
Oh yeah.
For 1 second was great.
They're just walking through the Xavier mansion.
And he's like, "Where the fuck is everybody?" It's like you got, and he's like, as he says that, you see like
they're
James McAvoy, and he's like, "What is this asshole doing?" And then like Quicksilver shuts the door. Good Quicksilver shuts the door behind them. That was great. That was hilarious. Yeah. I also like the fact that
the fact that they brought in Terry Crews to finally be a superhero, and then they just killed him off.
Yeah.
Like super quick.
I'll be honest.
Bedlam's like actually kind of a cool character.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have.
I'll be honest. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that like we got the team, but like then they just kill him for a joke.
But if you think about it, all of those X-Force members are kind of jokes.
Are they? I don't know a lot about the X-Force and stuff. But like some of it was, I guess it's probably for the best because
I mean, you want the really cool ones.
Yeah,
you don't want like spitter face guy. You don't want
Vanisher or whatever.
yeah, like
who I thought was a great.
no, you
that was a
want
good joke.
Domino. You want Cable. You want
Yeah, I guess
Deadpool.
that's why they do it. Is they use it for a funny joke and they say, hey, at the end, here's the actual X-Force team.
Right. And
Is Colossus
and a cool thing, like the coolest Easter egg I thought in the whole movie.
his X-Force costume?
Yeah. So like Flame Fist or whatever, like singes the shit out of his costume and it turns gray.
But it's red by the end of the movie again somehow, like when he goes back in time and stuff. And I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, but then by the end fight, his fucking costume is like being held together with duct tape.
Oh shoot! I hit my mic. Did you like the fact that at the end he undoes Vanessa getting killed, or did you think that's cheap?
Did he?
Yeah, because he goes back and he kills the guy with the cream cheese spreader.
I honestly don't think they continue with that as canon.
No, they did. They said it is canon.
Is it?
Yeah, I saw something on Screen Rant. They said the Deadpool 2's post-credit scene is officially canon, which is weird because he kills Ryan Reynolds in real life.
That means that Ryan Reynolds is now Deadpool.
Is officially dead?
Yeah, it's just Deadpool now.
Yeah.
He officially has an alter ego.
The X-Men Origins one was pretty great because they used actual footage of Hugh Jackman's reactions. They didn't get him for the movie. So when he kills shitty Deadpool, which by the way he shouldn't be able to do because that's not in that Deadpool is not, you can't shoot that Deadpool. They cut off his arm and head and shit and it's fine in the actual movie. But no, they don't. They cut off his arms and stuff sometimes and it grows back. But then they cut off his head. Well, whatever. Anyway, that was funny though, and I thought that was really cool. But apparently that is canon, which means she is alive. So
that's dumb.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
It's super dumb. That kill off his girlfriend, and that allows Cable to become like, you know, a beacon of what he always was, a beacon of pansexuality. Like, then he can like actually go fuck Colossus in like Deadpool 3 or whatever.
Do people want to see that?
I think it'd be hilarious.
But do people want to see it?
I think it would finally earn its hard R.
Just hardcore gay sex?
Or at least just like
a penis?
The joke. Like have it happen or whatever in some context.
Sure. Maybe.
Or just like capitalize on Deadpool's depraved sexuality, like more so than it has been.
Fair enough. I like the Colossus speech at the beginning, and he goes, "Being a friend isn't important when it's easy. It's important when it's not easy."
Oh, look at you!
And you never make it easy. And I was like,
I learned something today.
I like it. I think it's. If this movie didn't have heart, I wouldn't give a shit. If this movie didn't have some of those moments, I would say it's a bad movie. But it has them, so I was like, that's what's kind of boosting it up for me. Is that they even if it's ham-fisted, sometimes they do carry it through pretty well.
Yeah,
like when he dies at the end, they do a couple
Somehow all these miscreants in this movie are very lovable and, you know.
Yeah. Do you hate that? Do you want them to be a little grosser,
a little more hard-edged,
a little more? You know,
a little more Sin City,
a little more lawful neutral or true neutral or chaotic evil or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that'd be cool, but like I get it, and I get why this brings audiences in.
Yeah, as the comic book guy on X-Force, is Colossus a member of the X-Force?
I don't know. I think he probably was at one point.
Okay, that's interesting to me because I mean it's going to be him and Deadpool and Cable and Domino and like you got a whole big diverse kind of cast.
Those are big guns, and I like the guns.
Yeah, but they're all of different moral scruples,
and that's cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's great. I'd love to see that. He makes Colossus say "fuck."
Teenage Negasonic, longest fucking name ever, or whatever he said. That was funny.
I like her. She's cool.
Yeah, like the Deadpool movies made a really crap character, made a couple of crap characters really cool.
One crap character. Colossus, I think, has always kind of been cool, but I never read him. But every time I watched him, I was like, this guy seems like he's a pretty cool dude.
Well, they made They made Bedlam Terry Crews, and so then I guess Bedlam's cool now.
What is that guy? Does that guy have? What are his powers?
He can like.
Is it the same as the movie?
I don't know, like distort fields of something. Yeah.
Fair enough. I kind of feel bad that Terry Crews didn't get like a big role. You think he's bitter about that? I feel like he is.
No, I think he took it all in stride. He's a fun guy.
Yeah, he probably.
He probably enjoyed the joke.
Yeah, fair enough. God, he crashed right through that bus. Shatterstar. I'm pretty much better at you at everything. Then he flies into a fucking helicopter and he dies. Could Deadpool come back from that? I don't feel like he could.
Come back from what?
A helicopter.
Yeah, sure.
How?
He's grown from tons of stuff before.
That feels like it's wrong. I know it's comic books, but I feel like he should be able to grow back like limbs and stuff, and even appendages, which we see in the movie, which was funny. The fucking
like as long as you've got one big hunk, you can grow back.
Yeah, I feel like it's like whenever I don't want to get off on a tangent or anything.
I mean, like in the comics, like Wolverine, like Deadpool and Wolverine's healing factors are about this fucking same.
Exactly, and I think that. I think
Wolverine's come back from nothing but his adamantium skeleton,
which I think is wrong. Which I feel like all these characters. We're getting off another tangent, but I think this is a fun thing to talk about. All characters that have a healing factor, I feel like when it's
bullshit.
No, I feel like when they're created, they're set with limits. Like I feel like if you shoot Wolverine 3 times in like the chest or arms, he'll come back from that. But I feel like if you melt his skin away, there's nothing left. What to regenerate like from what? So like
the smallest cell. That's how it's explained. Is it can regenerate back from the smallest cell. It might take a while.
I feel like when you do that, you stop making them interesting though. I feel like Wolverine is at his funnest when that's why Logan's so good. His healing factor is shit. So when he's getting fucking ripped apart, you're like, oh my God, come on, Logan. Like you root for them more. So I feel like it's like when the Hulk destroys a planet. And I'm like, no. Like when you scale them back and you give them rules, I feel like it works. Even for characters like Superman, who I extol the virtues of ad nauseum. He has limits. If you hit him hard enough, you'll kill him. The same thing with like the Hulk and like with Deadpool's healing factor. And I don't think that the movie. I think you
don't think the movie's consistent?
No, I think this movie is. I think that's one of the good things I'll say about it is like it doesn't break that rule. At no point is he incinerated and then comes back.
Right.
He's like he gets ripped in half, which that was real rough. I wasn't ready for that. It's like when like I don't know if you read some Marvel comics. There's a comic book where the Sentry takes Carnage into space and rips him in half. Woof. And I was like, holy shit. I wasn't ready for that. So when that happened, I was like, Jesus. But I like that he can come back from that. But I feel like if I threw Deadpool into a vat of hot lava,
it serves up the best, like what I thought was the peak of the comedy.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, the baby legs bit.
Yes.
Oh, that's good stuff. I applaud you, like writers of.
That's
EP2.
hilarious.
Like it was good stuff.
It was when I was looking over at you and I was like, is he gonna have baby legs? And you just looked at me with like side eye and you were like slow nod, and I was like, oh my God, this fucking. You see his tiny baby penis at one time.
It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
And I love the joke that Domino says, like, everyone's all freaking out about his baby legs, and she's like, oh shit, and he's like, oh yeah, the baby legs. She's like, no, your face.
Your face. Those TJ Miller jokes, that guy's pretty good. He's pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
That part when they all had their guns and stuff, and he goes, I just want you guys to know that I didn't tell Cable shit except for everything I knew about you. And I was like, of course. There's a part when they're all loading their guns and TJ Miller gets serious for a second and he's like, let's lock and load and let's go get him without me. Like that's like
they're so smooth, those lines.
I know, like he commits to him, and I looked over at you and I was like, that's what you would be like. You'd be like as they're.
I'd be like, I'll give you a pep talk, but I'll stay behind.
As they're doing the.
I'll be like Wong from Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly. As they're doing the slow mo walk up, you'd be doing it, but like you'd be doing it slower than them until they pass you, and then you just like
you'd sleek off.
Take a tangent into Cheesecake Factory or something.
What the fuck? Cheesecake.
Man, shut up. You know you like that shit.
Chili's 2 for $20.
Yeah.
We haven't got ads yet, but I'd totally do a Chili's ad.
Yeah. This episode of the Movie Date is brought to you by
Baby Back's Batman Ribs. No.
What are some of the other jokes that you liked? This is a comedy, and we should praise. We've been kind of shitting on it.
I love her like the ocean loves water. I thought that was just. I was like, what? That's great.
What are some other ones, man? There were a bunch of them that I really liked that I'm just not acknowledging. God, what was the good one? Oh, so dark. Are you from the DC universe? And I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he calls like Cable Thanos once. That was funny.
Yeah, it was all right. Apparently, like that DC universe one was in a trailer too. I missed that, which is weird because usually.
In fact, I thought that trailer hyped me up for this movie too much.
Maybe, yeah.
And I'm starting to think that I'm not going to enjoy the Ant-Man and the Wasp nearly as much as that trailer's letting on either. Or I might enjoy it more. I don't know.
I liked Ant-Man was kind of one of the most meh event of the MCU movies for me. It's not as bad as like Iron Man 2 or the Incredible Hulk, but it just feels, I'm going to use the word again, tepid. It feels kind of like okay. But like I'm excited for this new one because like this is now Peyton Reed is getting to do his own movie. He didn't have to come into Edgar Wright's structure and like add a Falcon cameo and make it inside of the MCU because Edgar Wright's wasn't even supposed to be. So I was like, I want to see what does he want to do with Ant-Man on his own? Because apparently he likes the character a lot. I like him a lot. I think he's cool. But anyway, I don't disagree with you. Other funny jokes.
Yeah, I like the taxi cab character he returns in this movie, and he's just like doubled up on his character. It's really funny.
I love the part where he's like, "I want to bathe in your enemy's blood" or something.
Yeah.
Whatever that
calls
shit
him
was.
Brown Panther. It's hilarious.
Brown Panther. That is hilarious. Did Cable have any good jokes?
Yeah, dubsteps for pussies. It's a standout one.
That's just a truth fact. That's just. No.
Those are just truth nuggets coming from the Cave Meister.
And he goes, "You're not a hero. You're a fucking whatever and a fucking sex toy." What does he call him?
You're something dressed up as a sex toy.
Yeah, or whatever. I'm not a racist. Like that was good. That one was good. You killed Black Tom, you sick son of a bitch, you racist. I want you to start judging people by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. I was like, that was good. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Cable, X-Force the movie, Cable, Deadpool, whatever the hell you want to call it, Deadpool 2, which they should have called it something else.
Yeah.
Really, honestly.
They should have called it like Deadpool 2, the setup movie. Like that way you're not going to be accused of false advertising, and it's like it's honest and it fits. Like they would do something. They make fun of their own marketing.
It almost feels
all the time.
like a vignette or something. Like it feels like this small.
The number of times you've gone in this episode.
Yeah, man, because I liked it, but I was disappointed.
Fair enough. There's nothing wrong with being disappointed.
Because I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, but what I do like is when Deadpool interacts with other characters, specifically like in a duo context, because it like just whacks
him and Spider-Man.
Him and Spider-Man, him and Cable, him and whoever. Like it makes that other character's world that much like super wacky and fun and like crazy for a spell.
Yeah, and it works really well when you give him a straight man to shoot off of.
Sure.
Caleb, God damn it. Cable is the straight man in this movie, but I didn't feel like they really bounced off each other that much.
Mm-mm.
Like, they got some cool action, like that moment at the end where they fight the army of pedophiles or whatever. They had a cool couple like team up action moments. We're like, oh, that was dope. That was cool. Yeah. But I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it is a bit of a letdown. You know what I think it is because I think people are definitely on the Marvel hype train, and I think every time a movie comes out, it gets a little bit blown out of proportion for me, and I go in with these huge expectations, and then I walk out and I'm like,
maybe it's because we saw Infinity War and it's not like as huge of a movie as Infinity War.
Fair enough, and I think that also is going to be
It's like seeing. It's like okay. Didn't like Daredevil and like the first Spider-Man movie come out in the same year?
Not the same year, but they came about really
Pretty close,
to each
right?
other.
So that's like watching Spider-Man before Daredevil and like being like disappointed because like Spider-Man's like
one of these
super
fucking
cool.
sucks, and one of them has a cool, crazy Dr. Octopus. Or is that the second one? That's the second one.
I don't know. I was just trying to come up with like a kind of comparison.
No, I think I agree.
Yeah, it's like seeing Luke Cage and then watching Iron Fist.
Yeah. I would say it's like watching
Not
Daredevil,
quite that bad,
the Netflix Daredevil, and then watching Iron Fist, and you're like, what? How did we get so far off course? But I am a little bit concerned that X-Force won't have any good chemistry or character stuff because we haven't seen any of these people outside any of these movies. It's sort of like every X-Men movie is a team-up movie, so you don't have enough time to get to know everybody. And as much as people shit on like Justice League or whatever, like we got to see some of these characters in other movies. Wonder Woman got a movie, Superman got a movie, Batman had, a movie and a couple of cameos. So like I feel like when they came together, I felt like, oh, well, the Flash is, he's getting mentored by Batman, and I feel like there's room. I'm not sure if X-Force and the Avengers, of course, they all had a movie except for Hawkeye and Black Widow. So when they come together, I'm like, oh, because of that, we get to go right into the character chemistry. I'm not sure if X-Force will have that, but I have faith.
It's like it knows it's smaller than everything else.
I think that's the only way it works. If they fight like a world-ending alien tyrant of some sort, like a Thanos or a Darkseid, I don't think it'll work. I don't know what X-Force does. Like I haven't read the comic book, so I'm just ignorant on that.
I mean, there's just another team. Like
my friend says they're like a mercenary deal. Like they're Suicide Squad, but they're not as evil. But I was like, is it like do they go on like mercenary missions? Do they go fight in space? Like what do they do?
Yeah, for hire.
Okay.
They save the world from time to time.
Okay. I'm gonna buy some X-Force comics and just read some, see what I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway.
About that time to wrap it up.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say.
I feel we need to talk about the genre. We've been kind of going at a mind-blowing pace on these superhero movies.
Yeah, luckily after this one we don't have it. Yeah, we do. We have Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2 months.
Like I'm looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And
I'm like, oh god, I gotta watch another Marvel movie.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, I like superheroes, so I'm adjusting my mic as I talk. I like superheroes. I don't have any problem seeing them. This movie just feels not bad. It didn't blow me away. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I probably won't watch it again. But when it comes out on Blu-ray, I might buy it so I have it for my own collection. I think it's worth one watch, and that's about it. I think if I went back and watched it, like this is your second time seeing it.
It's worth a watch, and it's one of those ones that you could probably just put on,
Fair
like
enough.
background movie.
Did it lose? I think the test is like, I saw the first Deadpool movie 3 times, and each time it was just as sharp. Did this get duller the second time for you?
There was some stuff that I noticed the second time around that I didn't notice the first time.
Yes.
Like during the Juggernaut fight, they play that.
The choir. Holy shit!
Holy shit! The Juggernaut. Like
that was pretty. That was good.
That was really funny.
But on the whole, do you think the movie was better, worse, or consistent with its second viewing? Or do you not even? Go ahead.
Like the jokes didn't land as good, but that's to be expected.
Exactly.
Because the jokes are second time around. But I saw a little more cohesion in like the plot line and where they were going with
So roughly
the
stayed the
story
same.
and the pacing of it, but not much.
Yeah. So it stayed the same for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I would.
Versus all other like Marvel movies. The second time I watch it, it's not nearly as good. Like my enjoyment out of it like dips by 50%.
Yeah, but I would say that Deadpool, the first one was like, I watched it like 3 times, and each time I watched it, I was like, it's just as good. This one I feel like I walked out of it the first time going, it's okay. And I feel like you're saying you walked out of it the second time going,
Tim Miller should have stayed on the project?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, David Leitch is... You should watch the John Wick movies, because I think once you watch those, you're going to be like, I would have liked some of this action. A little more... less stylized, more down to earth, more gritty, and I think you would have been like, "Huh." Maybe I think you'd enjoy it. They're empty, and they're
Well, why don't we make the John Wick movies our next blind challenge after we do?
Yeah, right on. Well, you already know my opinion on them now, but yeah, sure. I'd like to have you watch them and be like, "What do you watch?" Yeah, you gotta watch the first one.
I'll be glad to watch some Keanu.
Yeah,
we'll have like a Keanu month.
Oh, that would be dope.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Constantine.
I'll watch John
Wick.
Wick. I'll make you watch A Scanner Darkly. And then we watch the Matrix trilogy to wrap it all up.
I'm down. I guess briefly, since we're about to wrap up, are there any X-Men movies that you like? And what are some cool moments from
I'll tell you what, I'll give you my top 3 X-Men movies.
Okay.
Coming in number 3, I'm gonna go X-Men X2.
Yeah.
Second X-Men movie.
I like that one.
I like it.
That is a great Wolverine moment when he's in that hallway. Awesome.
It really the Stryker stuff, all of that. I thought it was just like
that opening Nightcrawler scene as well is dope.
Oh yeah, Nightcrawler's badass in that movie. Like when I was a kid, I thought that movie was the shit.
Yeah, it was that was my favorite X-Men movie for a good long while because there was only 3.
So yeah, X2. Then second favorite, probably gonna go with Guess I'll go Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I think that's good.
And the Deadpool counts as X-Men, right?
Yeah. Anything under the Fox Marvel banner. So like Logan would count. All those X-Men movies and Deadpool 2, all of them count. Fantastic Four, if you want to go there.
Favorite X-Men movie, number 1 slot. I don't want to say Logan.
Why?
Because I didn't like it as much as everyone else.
Fair enough.
I thought it was a great movie, but... Fair enough.
It's not very comic booky, is it?
No.
It's very... I think Deadpool 2, though, could have done with a little less comic booky and done with a little more groundedness. Not like you can't make,
I think the opposite, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I thought it could have been more wacky and...
Yeah, it feels like it needs to be...
irreverent than the first one.
It needs to be more something. Because I feel like we had this.
It needs a little more juice. I don't know where the juice lies, but it needs a little more juice.
It needs some of that juice. Okay, so what was your number 1?
Number 1. Wait, what did I say? Number 3 was.
Number 3 is X2. Number 2 was Days of Future Past.
And I guess my number 1 X-Men movie. I'm gonna have to go with the original X-Men movie.
It's been a while since I've seen that. I probably should rewatch it.
And I think it holds a spot there because of we're gonna play with the nostalgia factor here. That toys came out. It was it
was a big deal.
I'm sure it was one of those things for Star Wars in the 70s, that kind of deal. Same one the first Spider-Man movie came out, all the marketing and advertising and toys.
I'd be willing to bet that first X-Men movie holds up. Just the introduction to
that introduction sequence where he's Wolverine's a brawler and shit, awesome. And he meets Rogue, that's good stuff.
It is. And that was in 2001.
That's good precursors to great comic book storytelling in the movie medium.
That feels like something you'd read in a comic book. If you were a writer and you were hired, hey, we're doing a reboot of the Marvel Universe, you need to reintroduce Wolverine to the X-Men series. That's a great way to start.
Yeah, I thought that was Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like how much of a dick Cyclops is in the very first movie.
Cyclops, right? And he grabs him you want to get out of my way. That's pretty good. Also, one of my fans has a great joke in it where Rogue goes, "I saved your life," and he goes, "No, you didn't." As he gets into his car, I love how That was his first performance as Wolverine, and he was already perfect. Like it was
curmudgeonly.
Yeah, I love it. For me, I'm gonna go number 3. I might surprise you. I'm gonna say X-Men First Class.
Oh, that. You know what? That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Instead of Days of
I would say
Future
X-Men
Past.
2 is. I would say X2 is right underneath it. X-Men First Class is. It's weird to watch it now because it feels so weirdly out of like off hands from the rest of the franchise.
Right.
But it's got some of my favorite moments.
As far as reboots go,
it's damn good.
First Class is first class. Like it's
yeah. It's got some great moments. One, I love like I remember watching it and I'd be like, Matthew Vaughn directed this. I was like, I don't know what to expect. He's all over the place. And then I like Kevin Bacon is the bad guy.
Kevin Bacon
and
is Sebastian Shaw.
And then by the end of the movie, I was like, Kevin Bacon's good in this. He's an asshole, but like the scene where Magneto kills him, but Charles is still inside of his mind, so he feels the coin go through his own head. That was like agony. I like all the Mystique stuff in it. The Cuban Missile Crisis was caused by mutants. There's the part where we see Charles get struck by the bullet. Like, there's all sorts of great stuff in there. It has one of my, I don't read a lot of X-Men. I haven't read a lot, but there was a story I read. It has Nightcrawler's father in it, Azazel, who the Red Devil teleporter guy.
Yeah.
And he's dope. And I was just like, oh, that's cool to see him. I just think it's cool. It's like a cool spy film with superpowers. My number 2 is... You're getting restless. I can see you looking at me. My number 2 is... I think my number 2, I'm going to cautiously go with Days of Future Past. If it feels like I should say something
So you
else.
like those New Age X-Men movies?
Yeah.
Let me guess, number 1's Logan.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to twist this around.
I know. Once you start to think about it, you're like, oh.
I think First Class...
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of X-Men movies.
Yeah, I think First Class is better. I think it's better than Days of Future Past.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I think it's better. So here, I think I'm going to put
From just
that.
like a fanboy standpoint and a film standpoint.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, for number 2, I'm going to put Deadpool. Just for sheer balls. Of just being like, because it was untested and untried.
I feel
Ryan Reynolds had to like leak. He says he didn't, and no one knows. But like, someone leaked that test footage, and if we didn't see that on the internet, we may not have gotten one. And it has a great interpretation of Colossus, and like it's weirdly faithful to the X-Men universe, from what I understand. I don't know if we haven't read a lot of them, but it's also really funny, and it has some moments of heart. I like that, and going back to Deadpool 2, it does one of those. The things it does from the first one, 4 or 5 moments. That's all it takes. And I was like, I love that moment in Deadpool, the first one, for 2 reasons.
They keep bringing up like the, the what it means to be a hero.
I know, I love it.
Ham-fisting it,
but that's
to you with corny like.
But it only would work. It would only work with Colossus. If it was any other, if it's Marvel or DC, like if it's in the MCU or the DCU,
it's got to work with that like paladin like character.
Yeah, but you can't even do it. I'm saying you couldn't even do it like this over the top though. Like Colossus he's real straight and he gives it to you like he's the stepdad. But like whenever Batman or Superman have a talk about morality, it's more serious and it's not as ham-fisted. But that Captain
Captain
America,
like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Exactly. But I think for Colossus it works, which is why when that Junkie XL score is kind of swelling up and he goes, "We're only given. Everyone thinks you wake up a hero, you brush your teeth a hero. Not true." It was like, sometimes a hero is only 1 or 2 moments, to help a friend, to spare an enemy. And he's like, and then Deadpool just pulls the trigger and kills him anyway. And I was like, it's a great moment, one, because it's a funny gag. Like that punchline is great. But also, again, it's a great representation of Colossus. And I got to give it to them for like, they didn't have to do that. They could have just made him a cool CGI eye candy character,
right?
And that would be fine. And everyone would still have given it great reviews, and it still would have made more than The Passion of the Christ.
Would you say they put maximum effort into the Colossus?
I think they did. I think he's better than the other one we get, who looks cool. He still like physically looks cool, but he's just kind of like, He's not. He's not. There's no character there. He's just vanilla. Anyway, and number 1, I'm gonna go Logan. Yeah, I know. I really love it.
Yep, I knew it.
Yeah. About time to rack it up.
Let's pack it up and move it on out.
Yeah. All right, guys. So next, you'll hear this one first, and then after this one, our blind challenge for Swiss Army Man is going to be up, and after that's already been recorded. If you're listening to this, after that one, we are doing Solo, which I hear is.
AKA
okay,
the Donald Glover Lando Calrissian movie.
Yeah, the one that everyone wants.
That's what they're going to see.
Yeah. Are you excited? Little expectations on Solo?
No, I'm not. I couldn't give two shits about this movie, to be honest. The only thing I care about is Donald Glover's portrayal of Lando Calrissian. That's the only thing.
On a scale of 1,
like seeing like a really shiny Millennium Falcon, maybe. Like, okay.
Do you want to see the Kessel Run and stuff?
Yeah, sure. Show me the Kessel Run. What the fuck is the Kessel Run? Let's do this. Like, I've been waiting to see this for so long.
It's a big race, probably, or something.
But the Kessel Run better be fucking amazing, Ron Howard. It better be. Do not disappoint me with that fucking Kessel Run. If there's no Kessel Run, I want my money back.
Do you think it'll be good? Like, what do you think it's going to be? How do you think you're going to be when you walk out?
I think it'll be about as good as Rogue One was. Like, it'll catch my attention and captivate me for an hour and a half because it's Star Wars.
I'm going to make a prediction and say it's going to be, out of all the new Disney Star Wars movies, this is going to be the worst one.
You think?
Yeah, I think. Because I like Rogue One it's good. It's kind of got some thin character motivations, but that last battle at the end is awesome. Like that big space fight. So I'm like, It makes up for all of that. I don't know if we're going to get that with this, because this is like a heisty feeling movie. So it could just be like people meeting at bars and looking real charismatic.
What if it's like Rat Race kind of movie? Like a good way to do the Kessel Run.
I feel like they've only got so long, and he's going to win the Millennium Falcon. And if we see him do the Kessel Run, it's gonna have to be like a big deal. It'll have to be
the big nugget of the movie.
Yeah, it'll have to be like they stole a thing and you have to go through XYZ.
Smokey and the Bandit, but Star Wars.
No one's ever made it through XYZ. That's the Kessel Run. No one's ever made it out there, especially under 12 parsecs. And then he jacks the thing up, and then you'd have to do it like that.
Yeah,
if it's just a throwaway bullshit race or something, everyone's gonna bitch about it.
Yeah,
Everyone.
Don't make it another pod race.
And I actually don't hate the pod race. The reason I was excited for this movie is because Phil Lord and Chris Miller were doing it. And those guys did the Lego movie.
But then they gave it to Ron Howard.
Yeah, because they got mad. And Ron Howard's not a bad filmmaker.
No.
But I haven't seen anything from him that wowed me in a good while. And I think
what's the last thing he did? That fucking whale movie?
Yeah.
Moby Dick, but it's not Moby Dick.
We talked about this with Da Vinci, and I said it's like people slowly starving to death at sea, which it's very accurate, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
After about 20 minutes of that, you're like, I want to leave. He did a race car movie called Rush with Chris Hemsworth. That's pretty good.
What's his deal with Hemsworth? Like, why does he keep using Hemsworth?
He's a good actor. He doesn't get a lot of work outside of Thor. All right, let him have it. But Phil Lord and Chris Miller, like, they were funny, and like their movies were irreverent. They did 21 and 22 Jump Street, the Lego movie. They're producers on Lego Batman, like. And they were doing a lot of improv on this movie.
Sounds like they could have made a Han Solo movie pretty fun.
Exactly. And like apparently like they were doing a lot of improv on this movie, and that's why Kathleen Kennedy said, you got to get out. And I was like, you just took away the only thing I was like really excited about this movie for. And even then I still wasn't that excited. I was still like, I'd rather watch Obi-Wan Kenobi fight gangsters in the desert. I'd rather watch Lando Calrissian. I'd rather have a spin-off movie about like criminal underworld scum and gangsters.
Yeah, or like lesser known characters. Like, I feel like we've gotten enough fucking Han Solo.
We don't need to spin off any more characters that we've already seen unless it's Obi-Wan. Anyone outside of that, make new characters.
I don't even want Obi-Wan. He had 3 whole prequel movies. Yeah. Like, we got enough Obi-Wan.
Yeah. But I'd still like to see it. But I think what they should do is tell an underworld story. of criminals and gangsters and backstabbers, and the rebellion is just in the background
wanna know
somewhere. Who gives a shit?
I know I'm bringing it back. We'll have like Zach's video game corner, but like if you're talking about Star Wars stories, like Star Wars Bounty Hunter was a great video game. It
I remember
featured
that.
Jango Fett, and you just went around and like bounty hunted as Jango Fett in like the underworld.
Killed people. I'm assuming. But yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to not like a Jango Fett movie, but like a bounty hunter movie or something.
Yeah, let's learn more about the Hutts.
Yeah, almost anything other than this. I think it'll be fine, but I bet you I'm gonna walk out of it being like Rogue One was better, The Last Jedi was better, Force Awakens was better. Don't make a sequel to this, and they're gonna make a sequel. I can just feel it in my bones.
Like a sequel to the spin-off?
Yes, probably. Solo 2. This time it's personal. Or Solo 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Dan Harmon joke.
I guess.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
I don't give a fuck about this movie.
Yeah.
I don't care about the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah. I do like the guy who's making that, though. That guy did a movie called A Monster Calls, and it was pretty great.
Yeah.
Like, if you like Swiss Army Man, which I don't know if you like it or not, because I've told you to shut up and not tell me anything. I want to go into the blind challenge blind. But if you like that, I suspect you do, but I don't have any proof of that, you'd probably like A Monster Calls.
I'll tell you what I like.
Don't tell me anything about Swiss Army Man.
I like
your fucking mouth.
I like wrapping things up. Tight little bow. That's what I like.
All right. That's it for this podcast. Check us out on SoundCloud and the free and the free Podbean app as well. Yeah, it's great to listen to. This has been the Movie Date with Rob and Zach.
A podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be too smug about it.
Which Deadpool would definitely be smug about it.
He would.
Anyway.
It's not a podcast for the DPs.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great night.